wrong for the TL and the COG game after the draft. But I mean, it's really hard to know that a team is going to lose draft that hard beforehand.
Real quick, how do you reconcile that win condition with the Jets?
Are me and Afro still friends? Yeah, we're still on good terms. I mean, we don't really like play or hang out anymore, but
I think it's time to.
yeah, we're still
Probably one of the reasons that I haven't loved Team Liquid so far in the first.
still good. All right, so I might try to get Johnson. Let's make a poll for TL versus Fly. Who will win? I'll have a better way to fucking put this on the screen, or I'll put it in like the bot or something. So at some point we should be able to like have stats on screen of like how you guys are doing in the predictions. You guys are doing pretty fucking well so far, though. You have higher win rate. You have a higher prediction. My chat has higher prediction rate than every single analyst. Get Froggen? I tried to get Froggen. He just didn't respond to me. So yeah. I don't think he uses Twitter much either. We'll see though. Why did I do such cringy stuff during LCS? I don't know. I mean, they just do what they think will be fun or entertaining.
Yeah, and we saw some more variation from Team Liquid.
The chat is more 5-head than every analyst possible.
Mentioning, oh, they're not going bottom as much as usual. They also yesterday played a split push competition, 1v1 with the Rise.
This is just this week. I think last week I had higher prediction rate, but this week you guys have higher prediction rate. And we're counting starting this week though. So that's all that matters. Do you see your clip blew up on Reddit? Yeah, I saw it, dude. I saw my fucking clip on Reddit. I don't know. It was interesting. Dude, I like one of the things that was so funny is, so it's mainly positive, right? I feel like Reddit in general has been pretty positive around me, but there was like one negative comment I saw, where the guy was like, why are we listening to Dom anyway? Like, we should take everything he says with a grain of salt because he's a washed up ex-pro, right? And then some guy responded to him, like, some guy like e-stalked him through his fucking match history and everything, and found out that motherfucker that typed that was literally looking for players for fucking Silver Clash. So you have silver players on Reddit that are like, yeah, I think Dom doesn't know his shit. That's so fucking funny. Some fucking some guy just fucking hunted him down and just found, like, it's like, yeah, you're fucking silver. You're silver and in Clash. No one should listen to you. That's why no one should listen to you. Is even when Dom's washed up, he's still Challenger. You can never hit Challenger in your life. It's fucking funny. All right, into picking bans. Blitzcrank banned from TL because yeah, Ignar is like the god Blitzcrank. FlyQuest banning Set Akali, Rumble. So let's see if Lucian is banned here from FlyQuest. Lucian is normally the ban here, but maybe they just give it to TL. So let's see what happens here, because Lucian is very high priority. We just never see it because it's always banned. Tom Kench banned. So let's see about the Lucian priority here from TL. They might have information that we don't have about TL, and maybe TL just doesn't like Lucian that much. Riven up? Yeah, it's fine. Wow, they're going for the Philios with Senna up? I don't like this. Enemy team could just take... Wait, so Lucian is just still up. So maybe neither of these teams play it. So I talked to some people yesterday from LCS. The one pick that I'm really surprised about is Gragas. Like, Gragas is really high priority in EU, but in NA, no one fucking picks it. No one picks Gragas ever. And I talked to some players about it. I'm like, okay, I was doing pick ban like predictions, and no one was picking the champion that I thought. Why are they not picking this champion? And pretty much the overall response was that NA Gragas players just suck, and they're just not able to like combo properly with their ult, and because of that, people just lose. Lucian, the thing about Lucian Senna is Lucian is like a triple flex. It's a mid top 80 carry flex. So normally when you draft Lucian, you want to draft it with your jungler and your support, so that the second ban phase, like, you don't know where it's going yet. Don't pick Jarvan. So I think that Surenfire is going to take Jarvan here, most likely. He doesn't really play anything else. He doesn't play that much Elise. His Gragas is not very good. I'm expecting Braum and Jarvan here. How's FlyQuest 2-0? They had a pretty easy schedule, I think. They played against... Ooh, he's actually going for the Elise? That's surprising. Because he's normally a Jarvan player, but yeah, maybe he'll go for the Elise. Maybe I'm wrong about the Jarvan pick. We'll see. He's hovering Jarvan now. Okay, so we were correct about the Jarvan pick. All right, so Senna Lee Sin. Normally, what you're going to see here is a pick of support before the ban phase comes in. Soki, thank you for the 17 months. So normally, you're going to see either a Thresh. I think Ignar really likes Thresh. So Thresh is higher priority here than normal. A lot of teams would take Leona or Nautilus here. Like a lot of teams would just take Leona. But FlyQuest, they have so many support picks that they might not even feel pressure to pick it. They didn't even pick anything yet for support. That's pretty interesting. Syndra for Power of Evil. That means that most likely for TL, you're going to see something like a Orianna. If it's not banned from FlyQuest, they banned LeBlanc, which is pretty decent into Syndra. Sets up ganks really well with Jarvan. FlyQuest has a couple options for bans. They could potentially, TL has a couple options for bans. They could potentially ban the Riven here if they're worried about it. If not, they might just play into it. But I think Riven ban is actually pretty good because if you have Jarvan topside, okay, so there's a Thresh ban from TL. Like I said, Ignar really likes Thresh, so that's a smart ban here. It depends. Like, if they want to do, like, an Ornn pick, if Ornn isn't banned here by FlyQuest, maybe TL just doesn't care about the Riven. But if they go, like, Aatrox Jarvan, Riven is really fucking good into that. So we'll see what happens. The Echo, that's such a strange ban because no one's played Echo yet. And Echo is only banned here because it's supposed to be the situational counter to Syndra. So that's why the Echo is banned. So let's see what TL does. Let's see if they care about the Riven at all or no. Aatrox. Interesting. So this could be a Riven game. We have to see. So it seems like if Ornn isn't taken here, TL is going to take Ornn. Rakan Senna is kind of weird here. I don't think it should be a Rakan. I don't think that pick makes sense. I don't like the Rakan pick here. I think it's kind of bad. Rakan is not super good into Braum. It's just normally like a farm lane. And like Rakan Senna is just whatever. Alright, so I expect Ornn here from TL because Ornn is like decent into Riven in lane, and then also like they could deal with the magic damage team comp. Okay, so the Ornn, like we said, and I'm assuming it's going to be an Orianna with the Ornn. So I think it's going to be Orianna, Ornn, Jarvan, Braum, Philios. That's what I think TL's comp is. So let's see. You don't want a GP blind here because GP into that's fine too. It's always the other blind pickable mid laner, but I mean it's not a blind pick obviously because the Syndra's already up, but that's like another solid mid laner. What about Ryze? Ryze into Syndra's kind of rough. So yeah, we got the Ornn here. Like I said, pretty good. Let's see what FlyQuest ends up going with. So there's no Lucian pick, which is crazy, right? Because if you think about how drafts have been going in NA, almost every team has been picking or banning Lucian in the first 3 bans.
Banned last week against TL2. Jensen may be smurfing on it in scrims.
Yeah, maybe he's smurfing on it in scrims. Who knows? We don't know about Echo really because we haven't seen it. But it's always been like one of Jensen's best champions. People always meme him because he didn't press ult in that game 5, but they forget that he just smurfed on Echo for like the entire split, and he was smurfing that game up until that moment. So he's always been a really good Echo player. Yeah, so the team comp is rounded out with Mordekaiser. Makes sense. The only pick I don't really like from FlyQuest is the Rakan. I feel like the Rakan is a little bit out of place into this team comp, but we'll see. I mean, there are 2 relatively immobile carries on TL, so there's definitely a chance that the Rakan can get good engages. I just feel like, in general, Rakan is normally only picked with Xayah in this meta. That's pretty much how most people pick both of those champions. Like, Xayah and Rakan are good together, but besides for, like, when they're together, neither champion has that much agency. So, like, this is very specific to Ignar, right? He obviously prefers like things like Thresh and Blitz, but both of those are banned. And his Leona seemed good. I think he played 1 game of Leona. His Leona seemed good. So like Leona, Nautilus would normally be what other supports would default to here, but Ignar is going with the Rakan because I think that in general the way FlyQuest has functioned so far is that Ignar is like the playmaker for the team. And normally teams that have Ignar on it, Ignar is always the playmaker for the teams that he's on just because of his natural like tendency to look for picks and like be like a roamer, somebody who tries to be the first one into fights and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that both of these team comps are pretty good. Like, there's no clear like outdraft here in my mind. I think both teams got a pretty good comp, which is different than our games yesterday, right? Like, most of the games we watched yesterday, it was just one team heavily outdrafting the other. It's like, what the fuck? IMT just drafted Yasuo Karma top. Like, they just automatically lose from the draft. The other drafts are horrible. Were like CLG's draft, the Kale Lucian draft. I thought that was pretty fucking bad. And yeah, the Sona Tom Kench from EG. I mean, it was just a bunch of weird drafts yesterday. Okay. Yeah, the only weird thing is the center recon. Only weird thing is the center recon. So, let's see how the game is going to go. I assume that in general, junglers are going to be wanting to play more around bot side. I think it's pretty hard to gank. Like, Mordekaiser, maybe you can gank a pre-6, but generally speaking, when you have Mordekaiser versus Auron, it just becomes like a farm lane, where Impact will try to like push and roam at points, but he's going to be generally farming. And then you're going to have like most of this team be bot focused. And this is like a standard TL thing, right? Like, if you remember TL from the last 4 splits, winning 4 championships in a row in NALCS, they always have been a bot side focused team. So I feel like in general, most of the action is supposed to be around bot lane in this type of game. Schernfire starting red, he'll do red, blue Gromp, and then after Gromp, maybe he'll look for an early gank top or mid, but then he'll be clearing towards bot side afterwards. So we'll see where the action is. Turn up the audio just a bit. Okay, yeah, I can turn it up a little bit. All right. So, Jarvan versus Lee Sin, in terms of like 1v1 potential, Lee Sin wins most of the duels versus Jarvan. Jarvan is good when it comes to just like engages and team fights. So it combos well with like things like Auron, because if you burn like the carry's flashes, so if Senna or Syndra have no flash, it's really easy ulti on top. There's no Tom Kench or anything to save him either. Wow, Impact's playing really well. Started with Q into E, which I feel like a lot of Auron players aren't able to do that.
Right there. Impact, Viper doesn't even get an auto attack back in trade. That was completely.
So they're talking a lot about the trade. So the real reason why Impact has the pressure in this lane is because Viper leashed and Impact didn't, because Schernfire started topside, or sorry, Schernfire started bot side, Santorin started topside. So that's why the Auron is able to like get the early level 2, where normally in an even lane it would be, yeah, like Mordekaiser able to push in earlier.
Able to land a really nice combo, and during the duration of the knockup, gets his auto off, backs off before Viper can answer.
Okay, so Impact just took 2 turret shots for no reason.
Which equalizes it.
Yeah, and then that just threw away his whole early lead. That's actually really like uncharacteristic from Impact. 2 turret shots like that are pretty bad. Also, like, he needs to be careful because he should know that the enemy jungler is up here. He's taken 3 turret shots so far. That's rough. He had such an advantage before that.
Looks like he's got an open path to the bottom lane too. Analyst was talking
Okay, so here's the action bot side that we were talking about. Senna will definitely be the target of this gank.
with bottom lane up until this point.
They can definitely get a flash here on Senna. Oh, what?
They do back off at the
I don't like Schernfire not going for this play. I think it's a free fucking play.
and it's a little
Especially if you take bot crab here, you know that the enemy jungler is most likely on top side because he didn't contest the bot crab and he's a stronger champion than you 1v1. And like if you're in Schernfire's position, right? The enemy bot lane has priority and the jungler is stronger than you level 1. If he's not on the bot crab contesting the bot crab with you, normally that means that he is going to be on the opposite side of the map. So I don't know if he was just afraid of a counter gank or something, but I think that's a free flash blow most of the time.
there for Fly Flash.
Back towards the wolf camp for Santorin. Haven't seen him on
5-head, he doesn't want to win. True.
yeah, so Liquid's still guessing where he may be at what time.
Yeah, like that's probably never a kill because it is like Braum.
Scuttle and bottom scuttle.
Braum is not the easiest champion to gank for. I mean, obviously the CC helps, but normally like when Braum tags you, you can just flash and survive.
4 to 30 is again Viper gets
So Impact actually has not
impact. Having fun.
uses TP or anything, so he's just getting a straight like win on Viper in terms of the trade.
Liquid already starting to push.
There's a lot of interactions in the fucking Auron versus Mordekaiser matchup that I just want to talk about real quick. So a couple of the interactions, like you can have some outplays in between these, are if Mordekaiser ults, and then the Ornn presses W while the Mordekaiser is ulting, like during the animation. The Mordekaiser ult is canceled by the Unstoppable from Ornn W, so there's a small outplay window in terms of Impact being able to do that. And then another, and then from Viper's side, Mordekaiser can outplay the Ornn. If Ornn ults and then Viper presses ult while Mordekaiser's ult, or sorry, while Ornn's ult is in the air, so like while the ram is going out, he can actually take the Ornn into the Death Realm, and the ulti doesn't follow him. So the Ornn ult will be on the outside of the Death Realm, and then the Mordekaiser and the Ornn will be inside the Death Realm, which is like a way to just cancel the Ornn's ult. So they both have different ways to outplay. Like both of them can counter each other's ults, which is pretty interesting. So there is outplay potential. We got to see the Ornn W out of, I think, maybe it was Sakura. It was one of the EU LCS junglers or top laners was able to cancel Mordekaiser ult with Ornn W. So yeah, they can just pretty much cancel each other's ults. That's pretty much all you have to know.
From mid lane here, as you can see, Power of Evil is on his way back to lane because of that.
Yeah, then there's like the next level counterplay where you ulti as Ornn and wait for the Mordekaiser to ult you, and then you W before your ram gets to you. You cancel the Mordekaiser's ult and then keep your ult on the outside. So yeah, I mean there's a bunch of depth in this matchup actually. Even though a lot of times it just kind of ends up being a farm matchup. Generally speaking, like I like seeing matchups where there is some interaction, there is outplay potential. It looks like Impact's probably going to be building a Negatron or a Null Magic Mantle here. Yeah, so there he's building the Null Magic Mantle, going towards Negatron, going early Abyssal. Really good versus the enemy team comp. Syndra and Mordekaiser, both a ton of magic damage. So, I mean, Impact will probably go for Abyssal into... See, the thing is, this is weird, right? Because I feel like for some reason he's going to end up going the Frozen Fist because every LCS top goes Frozen Fist. But generally speaking, I think that going just Sunfire into Abyssal Mask is the best for Ornn. Yeah, so Viper has TP'd back into the lane, and Impact didn't. That's one of the advantages of Ornn is like being able to build items in lane. So now TL has TP advantage. So let's see if they're able to do anything with this TP advantage. That's just a good laning from Impact for the most part. So there's been relatively no action so far. We'll have to see what Surenfire ends up building here. Because he does have the option. Jarvan's the only champion right now out of all the junglers that has the option of going Cinderhulk or Warrior. I feel like in general, Cinderhulk is normally the safer option. But with an Ornn top and a Braum, he can go Warrior here, and it's not like a terrible prejudice. It's really just player preference. There's not a wrong answer in this situation, I would say.
Especially since Surenfire hasn't been able to go back to base yet to purchase any health.
So let's see what his choice is. Okay, so on the word, he just started Rift Herald. This is really risky. I mean, Senna is bot still, and Senna has no TP, so it should be TLs for free, but we'll have to see like if the enemy team decides to do anything. Because they do... FlyQuest does have vision of TL doing the Rift Herald. This is actually a really smart usage of TL's TP advantage. Like, even though they didn't actually TP there, that's an advantage created by Impact. Because he has TP... Yeah, and see, they're highlighting right now that because he has TP and Viper doesn't have TP, if they match bot lanes, then they can just get the side objective for free. Miss the cannon. FF. Just go to the next game. If you go Cinderhulk, what Ornn item do you get? If you go Cinderhulk, you probably are not going to get an Ornn item, but it's okay to like not get an Ornn item as Jarvan because you have Zoe, Aphelios, like you should be okay. Oh my god, dude, how OP is Aphelios? Aphelios just 1v1s Mordekaiser in the ulti. FlyQuest just lost the game. FlyQuest just lose the game now. How fucking broken is Aphelios? Just nerf the goddamn champion, please. Ah, man, that's just brutal. You can get Black Cleaver. You don't really go Cinderhulk into Black Cleaver in competitive. If you're going Cinderhulk route, your second item is normally Stone Plate.
Killing Mordekaiser in his own death realm is the biggest slap in the face, too, by the way. This game is a beatdown. Team Liquid take 2 objectives uncontested. Swap
Ah, man, this is such a good TL comp. Looks like we're all going to be right about this one.
I can't wait to see that again. It's gonna be good. So
Do you buy Black Cleaver? No, if you go Warrior, you go Black Cleaver second, but on Jarvan, normally if you go for
yeah, it's a great combo for
Cinderhulk, you go Stone Plate after.
champion. Possibly the best because you have the sustain that you're talking about and the extra damage closer range. Look at those chakrams stacking up for double lift.
God, that is just so broken.
You picked a fight with the wrong guns right there. Mordekaiser went at him at the wrong time. Double lift takes him down and
That just feels so bad as a top laner, though. You're just like, okay, I just put this AD carry that's level 7 in my Death Realm.
easy team composition to play the game out.
How can I lose? You know? Normally you ult the AD carry and that's just a free fight for you. But Aphelios is actually just so broken
To create some
that he can just win 1v1 if he has the Shuriken gun.
you know, snare somebody out of place. Get
Literally 0 damage from Morty.
on to surprise somebody. Otherwise,
Viper missed everything, though? Yeah, I mean, even if he hit his Q and his E, it wasn't going to win the fight.
now, so you
He just loses that versus those guns.
down to the bottom half.
I think it's Severum and Crescendum, or I think those are the ones he had right there.
They already have double lift in place. They've got the vision in place. They're just
It'll be a free Infernal. FlyQuest should not contest.
can't do a single thing about it. Senna's top lane right now.
The problem here is, like, when can FlyQuest actually contest an objective?
Is there gonna be any?
Like, what power spike do they have to wait for now before they can actually fight?
The time is almost
Maybe, like, 2 items on Syndra,
12 minutes.
Duskblade on Senna,
Landslide, Riv.
everything
something like that.
not being able to do anything before Team Liquid is moving. So the wards they're placing is an area Team Liquid is already going to be leaving. They don't really want too much of anymore. Bot side is going to be a bit of an advantage, but again, the numbers are always in CL's favor with the way they're moving right now.
And it's not like FlyQuest can be okay. Let's wait for late game. We're gonna out.
All right.
That is not gonna happen. The Team Liquid have Ornn for themselves. They got free buddies later in the game. So
Yeah, so Warrior into Cleaver. I think that this is actually better from Surenfire. Like, after thinking about it more, like, I thought that there was an option to go either, which there still is an option to go either. But when you have an Ornn and a Braum, as a Jarvan, you can play more like an assassin. You don't have to dive in first or anything. So going Cleaver and Warrior, like, when you have an Ornn on your team is probably just better.
I think that's the one FlyQuest was in.
He's not going to really have to do anything, though. Like, the Jarvan is not going to have to do much to win this game.
Anything to his name, you don't expect to be zeroed out immediately within your own ult.
Single out a carry with a lead kick. I mean, it's really fucking hard to do that. Like, in a competitive game where people are watching, like, where the Lee is and stuff like that, it's really hard to actually play for the Lee kick.
I would assume that Double Lift had just gotten a purchase off.
A lot of times, Lee is just going to have to kick whoever's in front
Meanwhile, Viper
in a game like this.
only gotten one purchase at that time.
Right.
And items in League of Legends.
Surefire full lethality? Nah, dude, you never go full lethality.
Difference doesn't mean
It's 100% a Cleaver into Stopwatch, into GA. That's like the only thing you can go.
that's how we have arrived here, Riv. And I believe.
He has Legend Tenacity already, so he has the option of going Tabbies or
Let's try and
Merc Trades, but normally you just go Legend Tenacity and Tabbies. It's pretty fucking efficient.
it's only gonna take another
Where's Broxa? He's just chilling.
for Team Liquid.
He said that NA is so easy, he feels bad, so he won't even play the first split.
Is the next easiest target. Looking at the timers, they've got 2.5 minutes before Dragon gets there. So just move everybody down to bottom lane, outer turret.
And take down Viper. It's just going to be a few more hits. They want
Core JJ's in the Death Realm. He's probably dead. Oh, no, he's fine.
right now, so they're just waiting for him to come back out. Nice job staying under the
It's pretty good, though.
for JJ and
So Core JJ kind of messed that up. After he hit the Q, he needed to walk back and max range ult instead of going close. Like, he kind of stood in the same position. He needed to Q and then walk back and then ult.
Because the Viper, he took on double lift. And he's like, oh, I can't win that one again.
And now Aphelios is the turret. Like, how broken is Aphelios, bro? Jesus Christ, this champion.
He knows, all right, the Braum is not going to kill me. This is a defensive ultimate.
So they'll probably swap soon to get Herald. Herald's coming up within the next minute, or it's coming up within 15 seconds, actually. So they're going to reswap the ball lane to top and then control the next Rift Herald. And FlyQuest has to give this Rift Herald too. And then this Rift Herald will be used on mid turret to secure mid turret.
that they were coming for. We said
Probably they'll just do it before the drag.
no kill necessary, no dive necessary. And guess what, Riv? There's only one outer tower left. Where
I
should
think I
they?
know where this is going.
It's
Okay.
really simple, honestly. When you have a team comp that can group up like this.
My word. And the other
That's a big chunk. I mean, FlyQuest is really troll just being here. So one thing that NA teams are kind of bad at, that EU teams are really fucking good at from watching LEC, is that in these situations where it's such an obviously TL-sided fight, what an EU team would do is they would rotate their bot lane, their bot duo, to bot lane, and they would go for this bottom tier 1, and they would try to trade an objective. Whereas like NA, it feels like they don't trade objectives well enough. Like even though they're kind of like sitting around here, TL's going to end up getting the Rift Herald anyway at some point. So this is just kind of like weird macro because you're just going to like pretty much stare at the enemy team and watch them fucking take the objective, most likely. It's not inherently like a good situation for you.
And this is what I was talking about. Double lift on screen was top side. You have an opportunity where the Aphelios isn't there.
So Aphelios gets to push it all the way, and see what I said about the Rift Herald? They still get this Rift Herald either way. FlyQuest should not fight this. They don't have the items to win this fight. Like, the Ornn is going to be so useful in this fight if Ornn TPs. Aphelios isn't there yet. Okay, Aphelios is flanking. No, they're going to win this. This is going to be brutal for FlyQuest. FlyQuest is just going to lose hard. It looks nice at the beginning, but it's going to be a TL fight no matter what. Yeah, that was like the best that FlyQuest's fight could have looked, and then it's still this bad. Like that's what I was saying beforehand, is like EU teams know that they're going to lose this fight, so they play for the side objective instead. They try to swap objectives, and they'll overload the opposite side of the map. So they'll split the map. They'll be like, all right, send the Mordekaiser top. The rest of our team goes bot, and then whoever's like defending the turret, so like let's say Impact's defending the turret with TP bottom, they'll just 5-man dive him.
So, you know, Rift Herald goes down. They're going to get the outer turret here for Team Liquid. Then they will easily be able to pick up the next round.
Or 4-man dive or whatever. You understand the point that I'm trying to make.
Now we got to start taking bets on the ending of the game. What time we're looking at? Charge number 2.
I'm so sick of this.
Scrub Noob, thank you for the 16 months, bro. Appreciate it.
A full reset. Had 5,000 something gold, I believe. Let's take another look.
Yeah, so this is just a fight that you're never winning, bro. The Aphelios is untouched. Like, it feels good, right? It feels good as a team because they feel like they're getting 2 picks. But Jensen and like Doubles is actually strong as fuck at this point in the game. Like he has like an item and a half. And if he doesn't die in the fight is just super one-sided. And also Senna wasn't there, so Senna has to catch the top wave. It's just a bad situation for FlyQuest. They need to play for something else.
It was such a disjointed fight to start too. I think all of that pressure right onto core JJ though, and having the stopwatch almost resets the fight for Team Liquid. They're able to find all their fights and give Double Lift enough time to watch.
Is this a NA mentality to team fight? Are they not smart enough to look for map trades, or is there any reason this happens in our region? They're smart enough. It's just that like they feel like the game is getting out of control, and like one thing that they're not okay with is like, sure, if you give the enemy team Rift Herald and you make the bottom play, it still is a negative trade for you, right? Like you still are gonna lose, but you'll lose less that way than you do if you try to fight. Like they think that they're like, well, maybe if we play the fight well enough, we can still like not lose anything. They just don't want to give up they don't want to make the sacrifice. And it will be a sacrifice, right? Because the enemy's going to get Rift Herald. You're going to get 1 kill, and you might get bot turret, you might not. And then they're going to spawn Rift Herald mid, and they're going to take your mid turret. The problem is, the mid turret's like, when you play it this way, you're losing your mid turret anyway. So now you're down like 6k instead of only being down like 2 to 3 if you made like a different map play. How many more games are left today? 3 games after this. Have I considered coaching? I was asked to coach before, but no. I haven't really considered it. I just think that I wouldn't enjoy it that much. I'd much rather, like, work as an analyst or, like, watch the fucking games with you guys than think about this. Jensen's probably just dead. Oh, never mind. He actually was smart and changed. Okay, so they're just dead. Goodbye, Syndra. Syndra, you're fucking dead. That's actually a really bad stopwatch, I think. Oh, they actually killed Aphelios. Maybe not. No, never mind. That wasn't a bad stopwatch. I thought it was pretty troll originally, to be honest. And that's a no flash Senna, so she's dead. Great fucking paddle star. Great play from Jensen there. Ooh, almost killed another one. This is such a good TL. Man, It's always been like this though. TL looks so much better when Impact's on tanks. Like Impact is just the best fucking best tank player in the LCS by far.
Still waiting on my analyst license, lol.
Wait, who is that? Top Cat XD, thank you, dude. Thank you for the donation. I'm actually really surprised that he was able to trade 1-for-1. I think that that's just greedy from Double F trying to get the kill. I think that he can position differently there during the stopwatch. Like he can just stand outside of Syndra's R range.
Impact gets the second knock-up there, and that is another kill for Team Liquid. All right, FlyQuest.
Jensen's huge.
At this point, you got to set up manageable quests for yourselves. You're always in your own life, Riv.
True, if someday got his tank play back, he could contend. I don't know, man. The one thing about Impact that makes him such a special tank player isn't really the laning or anything. It's just his map play is so fucking good as a tank. Like he just understands like when to initiate better than any other tank. Like he knows like ranges of his carries really, really well, and like he's really good about holding his cooldowns. And one thing that LS always talks about actually is spell timings, and I think that that's a really big strength of him as well. Like he has really good spell timings in terms of like understanding his CC and like saving it for crucial moments in fights or like skirmishes. So TL is just running this game. This is actually a really clean game from TL. It's the best game they played by far this split. Yeah, if tank meta comes back top, TL just automatically wins this split, I think. Index, thank you for the 4 months. It says, I enjoy all the new content you're doing this year. Keep it up. Hey, thank you, dude. That's okay, so as soon as I talk about his old timings, he just does some random fucking Ornult for no reason. Okay. Cool, Impact. That's literally what he never does. I mean, in this game, it doesn't matter at all because he's just going to base, but, like, it's so weird. And he actually did what I thought. I said this earlier in the game when I was talking about Frozen Fist or Iceborne Gauntlet on Orin. I think that Sunfire is better, but I had a feeling that he was going to go Iceborne because all NA Orins go Iceborne here. Maybe Zonia. I mean, it was a worthless ult because they had already got the turret, so he's not even zoning them from anything. He's just ulting for no reason.
So, FlyQuest got to get creative, send somebody into a side lane to push by themselves.
That's why he won the 30% CDR build. Yeah. I mean, the 30% CDR build definitely looks pretty good here. He didn't have flash. Jensen didn't have flash, so it's not a possible kill. He doesn't have the range to get to the recon. What can FlyQuest do proactively to come back? Or is it too late by losing the initiative? No, they already lost. They have a team comp that gets outscaled. They don't have a tank. They don't have a way back in, really. They just have to wait for TL to like start Baron or something and try to get a pick off the Baron. That's all they can do. But it's probably just lost. Like TL will probably just close out the game.
Sunday for everyone to start off here. Just kind of watching Team Liquid roll over. Yeah.
We just need the ocean drink.
Everybody chilling in here. Nice. FlyQuest trying to clear out some wards there around Baron. They know that
I feel like the big advantage that EU has is they're like way less panicked when they're losing. That's how I view it personally. It's like when NA teams are losing, they're like, shit, dude, like let's make our last stand like here, 12 minutes into the game. Where like EU's way more patient about, hey, we're losing right now, let's trade, and then we'll wait until like this timing and we'll fight now. Be like, yeah, let's wait until we have these 2 items completed so we can actually like kill the Philios, and then we'll look for it then.
Someday might win a lane he shouldn't win on a tank, but Impact actually won V9's games by making his carries untouchable while also putting the enemy carries on a platter.
I mean, I think
He can play carries, but with Jensen and D-Lift, his best play is to set them up to win.
I mean, I've always just felt like he's just better on tanks, but then also I think that that Orin's like his laning on tanks is also really good. Like Orin should not necessarily beat Mordekaiser in lane, and he straight up just developed his own TP advantage, which helps snowball the game into like the Rift Herald and everything else.
Talk about power spike.
We'd love the RFC right now, but
Impact Scion is godlike. That's such a bad EQ from Surenfire. That's like so unnecessary. So they're actually just gonna 2-man it with Surenfire over the wall, or what?
Hey, give vision. Hey, look at this. Where? More Mordekaiser's taking a turret too. That's
See?
some turret money.
Mordekaiser's doing the map play.
Turret
Cap.
money.
Looks like they actually want to fight for Elder on this one. Maybe they feel like they can stop the Baron from happening.
Santorin
The
watch.
Baron minions coming in the base.
Surenfire is like so out of position though. This is like so awkward from TL.
In the pit to smite this.
Well,
Down to 4,000.
yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we said. This is FlyQuest only way back in.
Even Summoner heal will not keep him alive on this one. Scatter the weak backwards.
Oh, and now they should just peel back and try to kill Lee Sin and
Evil.
Rakan.
Strike gets a bit scattered itself. Viper is making work on the bot side of this map. And possibly
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much FlyQuest's only way back in is you just wait for the enemy team to start the Baron and try to get like the best fight you can.
between Santorin, Ignar, and the rest of Liquid.
Actually, Rakan and Lee Sin is a very good combo for hide and seek because they both have multiple dashes. They can help each other.
You got Cloud Drake helping you out in these scenarios. Too.
All right,
Oh
they make
my
it.
word.
It's not necessarily that good from TL, to be honest.
On the mark. Surenfire was the quest I set before.
Impact was the best. Yeah, I mean, Impact's Shen is also really good. It is true.
And they got
His Shen is really good. His Sion is really good. His Maokai was always fucking really good. His Gnar was always pretty fucking good.
Gets a little tougher.
It's pretty much good at like every tank champion. Any champion that has AoE CC is just really good for Impact.
All right, so I had my eyes on Santorin.
I just don't like Surenfire being in this position. It just seems so troll.
Surenfire walks right up. He does a very good stopwatch to immune the
I feel
damage
like
from
people
Cinder.
just get wowed by some mechanical outplays by tops, but Impact seems like he's just a genius.
The Baron.
He
Yep.
doesn't have to flex mechanically because he is just always in the right place.
I think Impact is really smart about the game. He's also just like somebody who's super reliable.
In the game.
Turtle save.
I think that's super important for a top laner. Like he's rarely are you gonna see Impact just get hard shit on by somebody.
Be all over that fight.
Like it happens sometimes. Like Broken Blade hard shit on Impact in finals, a couple games, but just in general, like they don't get.
How do they now get into fight?
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't get hard shit on by anyone really.
You're this far behind. It literally is. You send someone to split push and you go for the steal. You don't try and fight the 5-on-5. You go for the Hail Mary, the big play.
Yeah.
You just try and send.
Okay.
Thorin and some
Do you think
back-
you'd be able to coach if I wanted to?
that steal, that
If that was my number one thing, I think I could probably figure it out. I don't know.
Santorin, you can find your way there. He gets a
Just finish the Baron, please. Just finish the Baron.
loaded as Moonlight Vigil comes over the wall, the Inferno Mouth, and it spreads out.
Wow, they're gonna really make Surenfire finish this shit.
Now getting torn apart left and right. It
Wow, he almost lost. Dude, that was so bad of smite from Surenfire.
is hostage in this one, and they're gonna eventually go down as doublest final.
I really think TL should finish the Baron there, though. Like, I don't think it's necessarily good to,
Jensen, he's trying to find Ignar, and TL's gonna be headed for FlyQuest.
yeah, play like that.
Give them a run for their money, Ignar. Surefire's over the wall. Oh no!
Oof, still had the ultimate after that. That's when you know.
Dude, look at the movement speed from the Cloud Drake. Look at Surenfire just hauling ass. Look at how fast he is on the map because of the Cloud Soul.
It's
fucking insane.
That was Ignar's first death of the split.
The Cloud Soul just makes you look so like troll.
Game goes down. Team Liquid now with Baron buff looking to finish it off.
Such high amount of movement speed. It's really nice.
Maybe pushing away a few of the naysayers and still have the final form to show us. But they will
Rest in
not
peace,
go
FlyQuest.
sit on that scoreboard. They're looking to go
I mean, I think it was pretty okay drafts, but it just feels like TL will always win when they have a draft like this.
holding off for a little bit longer, but on the iron lung as this game almost comes to a close.
Yep, definitely true. Baron and Powered Recalls go out for Team Liquid.
This is the first game of the split that feels like a TL game.
Half by the time they get back
That's what's crazy.
with the Baron buff.
Like, even the TSM game, it didn't feel like TL. This game actually feels like TL.
Team Liquid were a little bit antsy. Hey, if we throw it, diving, Nexus, or Fountain or something there, then the Elder Dragon is a possible
Right.
swing for FlyQuest. So they don't want any chance like that to come back into the game. So Team Liquid off the reset, again, trying to catch someone in the jungle.
Look at how strong they
Oh, that's a dead Senna.
walking into the jungle.
I feel like Senna just wouldn't be a Wild Turtle champ, bro. I feel like Wild Turtle needs some way to survive on the champions he plays. He needs like a spell shield. He needs a jump. He needs something to keep himself alive, man, because he is just not the best at dodging skill shots or like positioning.
Goes getting inside the base. FlyQuest doing what they can with the last three members in TL will bring themselves to 2-2, and they're going to do that over FlyQuest in pretty nice fashion in a humdinger of a game.
A humdinger of a game. What does that even mean? What does that mean, Riv? A humdinger of a game?
Team Liquid
What are we supposed to take from that? I feel like you could say that at the end of any game, and it would just mean the same thing.
Miles all around. I'm sure the
Aphelios has 6 wins, 2 losses. Senna has 4 wins, 7 losses. I think Senna's actually higher priority than Aphelios, though. Personally, from what I've seen in like LEC, for example. Senna just seems like better because of the infinite scaling and then just like the ability to change any top lane fight. I think that's the best part about Senna is the AoE ultimate. You can like even farm, and then anytime that there's a 2v2 or like a 1v1 top, if you ult it, your top laner pretty much guaranteed wins, unless they have like a Mordekaiser or something. So, yeah. Yeah, there was some top difference that game. I mean, the game was lost when Viper went for the kill on... The game was lost when Viper went for the kill on Doublelift. Is that actually confirmed that Wild Turtle gets 700k a year? That's fucking insane if he does.
Yep, there's no comeback from FlyQuest, but they still are
I'm so
all right. Doctor, don't blink. Thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate it. Welcome. Who'll have more regular split games this split? Broxer or Surenfire? I think Broxer will definitely get his visa soon.
In the future instead of solo queue.
I actually would be down for that type of stuff, like coaching a viewer on stream or something. We could think about doing stuff like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it would be bad. It could be good content. Could actually be solid content. Weapon of the Faithful Doublelift. All right, let's see what he says.
Doublelift with another strong performance to bring a victory into the pocket of Team Liquid. But my first question to you is concerning just general laning. A lot of lane swaps happening from certain teams, but it's taking some time to figure out exactly when to make that switch back. For you in particular, you got pretty high level off of that decision and able to have the effectiveness of almost a solo laner in the way that you
I hate this question.
So how do you feel that your just understanding of the laning phase right now is working for that swap?
Like, it's supposed to be really complicated, but it's not.
Everyone knows that BetterBot wins, and at 8 minutes you swap, and
yeah, that's what it is.
The Herald, and then usually the Herald gives you control for the rest of the game unless you're bad. And then, so like, usually when we lost, like last 2 games that we lost C9 and Dignitas, I did 8-minute swap, we didn't punish, like we couldn't do anything about it. Both times I was playing Senna, who's like the worst wave clearing 80 in the game, so I think I'm gonna stop playing like doggy 80s like that.
Nice, just say that on stream. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop that 80 from my champion pool.
Team is
great.
Pretty weak at the moment. So the 8-minute swap is something that we're working on, which every team is working on, honestly, simultaneously. I would just say it kind of sucks at the moment because like laning phase doesn't actually matter that much. All that matters is champion picks bot lane and whether or not you can push out at 8 minutes and do the swap. Obviously, there's a lot more nuance to that, but like I don't really get to lane, you know, like most matchups I feel like I would smash if we're actually laning for like 10 or 15 minutes. But because like the game just gets blown open like that, you don't actually get to interact with your laner as much. So I think our team gets like kind of screwed a little bit by the meta.
Yeah.
Well, you just said that you're not feeling very confident in your
team kind of gets screwed a little bit by the meta. So one thing I'd add on to this too is also like the supports that go bot lane right now makes the game even more like this. The fact that all the support matchups are like Braum versus Rakan in this game, or Tom Kench versus Braum, or Leona versus whatever. Like those are just champion picks where the support is just not able to be killed in lane. So because the support can't get killed and all those supports are good at protecting the AD carry, it just ends up being a farm lane every single time.
This split has been surprisingly low. So there's a lot of instances where like a team has a huge advantage and then they just mess up.
I'm just going to ban anyone from chat who says,
in the game, for example, this game,
like obviously I'm going to be talking over the stream. That's just the whole point of co-streaming.
1v1 to Aphelios. If he ulted anybody else,
Just
it would have been
ban
way
a bunch
better.
of people. Hold on.
But like,
ban this.
he just kept going for me. I don't really understand why. Maybe they'll like talk to him about it in the review or something. But like, there's like a lot of just like humongous misplays, right? Like this game, like Impact misses ult like multiple times as Ornn. There's just a lot of mistakes, I think. And so both teams are like, I think like every team in LCS right now is trying to figure out like why
you gotta ban them.
Our stage games are so bad. Because when I scrim, you know, there's not so many like big mistakes in team fights and stuff like that. But our team handles the pressure pretty well. You know, we stay pretty calm when it's team fight time. Usually there's not a lot of talking actually.
Well, in the great debate of how much weight should be placed on Team Liquid's early performance.
Oh, this is the worst stream chat I've had. Doing code streams, interesting.
Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Gabby. Team Liquid moving to 2 and
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's like a couple things. Like the 8-minute swap is the reason why he was so high level. The reason why that question is so bad is they try to make it seem like, oh shit, it was like the macro decision to swap top that gave TL a huge advantage. Where like Doublelift got a huge advantage because he got a free kill from Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser tried to ult him and he solo killed the Mordekaiser in the ult, and then they got to push a full turret down for free. So like that's where he's getting his advantage from. It's not like he did some genius swap. It's that like they swapped because Aphelios outpressures Senna in terms of pushing. They swapped first. That's fine. And then he got a free kill. That's where his experience came from.
Champions that FlyQuest played last split or last week, whereas I feel like FlyQuest did not respect that Team Liquid right now is going for a lot of these orange picks for impact that make it so it's really tough to counter the top lane, and I would have liked to see an emphasis into Viper versus protecting the Syndra with the LeBlanc and the Echo. If they help Viper a little bit more, also don't give him Mordekaiser.
I was about to say
it could have been better. that was not a good Mordekaiser.
I was about to say, if you want to start getting these replays, I don't know if anyone can help Viper but Viper.
I mean, I don't think Viper's Mordekaiser was that horrible.
Probably the only replay we actually need.
It's just like
I mean, this is just a bad decision. This is just a bad decision because the enemy team has more people here.
flash ult. Now Santorin's like, wait, what do I do? I can't.
Like, even if he hits that Q, he still loses this, by the way.
On top of this, and then by the time he comes out of the Death Realm, other people have collapsed. Now you have backup, as well as the fact that you just.
Yeah, I mean, you just lose that if you miss the... Like, even if you hit the Q, you probably still lose that. Double still had heal. Like, there's just no chance you can kill Aphelios. Aphelios is just different than every other champion.
You should, if you're ahead like that, just win the game, and they did that.
They did exactly that. They had the 8-minute swap, pick up the Rift Herald, double kill, plus the turret plates, 2.5k gold lead at that.
Isn't it stupid to not ban Aphelios? No, I mean, I think you could trade Senna for Aphelios for sure. A lot of teams in EU prioritize Senna over Aphelios. It's different champions, right? Aphelios is like not 1v1able. Like, that's part of the issue with the champion inherently, but Senna has way more support for the team and is like really annoying to play against, especially once she starts getting her stacks of her souls. She's just able to pretty much take over the game.
But we suggested that Viper is just so good at the hardest of champions when it's so simple, like Mordecai, you get overcomplicated.
Give him the run at him champion, and
you should not play set, not a set kind of guy.
Which was the most fun meta? Probably like Season 4 meta. The Lee Sin, Elise, Eve, Rengar, Kha'Zix meta. A bunch of early game junglers at the time. Every game had a bunch of fighting. Every champion would build like full damage. That was pretty fucking fun.
You see how he kind of went back for a second and a third circle, right?
Dude, Glacial is just way better than Dark Harvest.
Yeah. I like the commitment, Kobe. Taking a quick look at our post-game breakdown, you can see that beautiful gold graph. Right around 10 minutes, it spikes to 2.5k. And then we've got that very consistent upward climb from Team Liquid to close it out.
I want to one thing that Doublelift was talking about, Senna, how he thinks that Senna is a bad champion. I'm starting to see that as well. Last week I saw it. She just cannot.
Can you explain why they would swap at that point in the game? There's objectives to take at that point in the game. You swap at 8 minutes to get Rift Herald because that's when Rift Herald spawns.
It's too selfish as a pick to require that many resources and just cut your tempo.
During laning phase, who would be better, Senna or Aphelios? I mean, it depends on what the supports are. It's normally just a farm lane between both of them.
How people are playing her, I don't think.
CL Oliver, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Welcome.
But I think when you see people like Johnson play it, Doublelift wasn't great, but he was at least playing mechanically well. It is a champion that you also need to draft well around if you want to fill it out with other support, higher damage around it. We saw G2 do a really cool idea where they paired it with a Soraka top lane. You have double heals, the fights last forever, and you can just camp out in front of objectives. And
Soraka top's actually really good, and no one's playing it in NA.
Senna's a really unique champion with how much of her power is put into healing. And
it's true that MF counters Senna. Not really. So the reason why people say MF counter Senna is because if you pair it with something like Leona ult or a Jarvan ult, you CC the Senna, and then the Senna in the Shroud normally can't be seen by the AD carry, so the AD carry can't auto it, but MF can just ulti on top.
Weakness that you're just so reliant on your team that if the draft does not go your way, you are dragging your team down.
And then it's, just so you know, I'm going to throw this stat at you. In LCS, she's 4 wins, 7 losses, 36-ish% win rate.
I'm not surprised Doublelift of all people is criticizing the more team-oriented AD carry. You know, he's like, I don't like not being able to push in 1v1. Give me a Aphelios so when Mort ults me, I kill him.
Yeah, I hear that. Team Liquid, all right, 2-2 with Surenfire in the lineup. With that game, though, FlyQuest adds only 3 more trees today. 3 count.
No.
That's going to hurt the average. We're stepping away.
EG versus TSM. All right, let's do the poll, boys. Let's do the poll and see what you guys predict.
Send the turret down. He's got the Severum on the other. You can't mess with that. You gotta hit the Aphelios. You can't just dance around him. There's gonna be another kill coming in for Impact.
That's another flash, another flash. I can't do anything, I can't do anything. I'm done, I'm done. I'm done, I'm coming.
All right, let's see what you guys choose.
Look up here, Impact, look up here. Yeah, you can go, you can go.
It is gonna be Impact on the backside, holding Wild Turtle and Viper hostage in this one. And they're gonna eventually go down as Doubless finds his way in.
Yeah, I'm with you, it's a hit, it's a hit. I'm you wanna keep going? Kill him all and then end. Yeah, and then
Kill Mord and then end.